Alrighty, traders, we are live. Yes, we are. All right, fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so let's get into today's session, and I want to share with you guys. Let me start off with this one here first. I want to obviously start off with a typical disclaimer for you guys. Can I move my thing there? Let's see. No, I can't, can I? No. I can't. Alrighty, guys. I want to share with you the super cycles that I'm seeing right now. This is big picture analysis. Big picture analysis in today's session. And then I'll go through some Q&A as well too. Hey, Simon's in the house. What up, man? Good to see you, my man. Yeah, and you caught me live as well too. How good's that? You caught me live. Well, you've seen me live many times, but with the group. So, all right, guys, make sure you have access to this book I'm giving away for free. If you want to learn the mindset, guys, around trading, if you haven't got access to this book, it's a brand new book. It's based on the legends of Jesse Livermore and stuff like that. So I promise you're going to absolutely love it. So get access to that book, guys. It's for free. And I promise you're going to absolutely love it. So what I want to walk you through today is I want to walk you through some of the major super cycles that I'm seeing right now that's underneath our feet. There's a lot of super cycles that's happening right now that are at play. And I think it's important that I just want to share those with you around those super cycles there. So okay, that one there. Okay, cool. Yep. Well, you can't even see that, can you? Look at this here. There we go. There we go. Got to get my ad in. Oh, whatever. Let's start off here. Let's actually go back to, let's go to my charts now. And then I want to share this with you because I think it's important to understand where we are in the big picture things. I think there's one of the biggest mistakes that we make is we're focusing too much on the short-term analysis, which is important right now. But I think it's important, or no, I do know it's important to keep an eye on the really big long-term pictures in these markets as they are as they're unfolding. And the reason why I'm doing this here, because I want to, for you guys that are traders, cool. If you guys are long-term investors and like you're looking for some long-term investing positions and stuff like that, I want to give you some ideas around the way that I'm approaching these markets and also how I'm actually getting involved with these markets as a whole from here. So let's actually, and the reason why I say this because I think a lot of traders get this mixed up from a short-term trader to a short-term trader trading analysis to then also looking at big massive cycles in the markets. And the reason why I'm doing this video because I got a comment just recently, and I was talking about the gold and silver having a correction, which they have, as you guys know. You're looking at it right now. In fact, let me bring on the candlesticks here. Right, so you can see here, mining stocks are down about 20% or so. So the thing that I see with this comment is I talked about the correction coming in this here, but he's an investor. He's an investor. And so, but looks like he's sold everything based off what my video said, and he's looking to accumulate back in as well too, into his positions. So yeah, so I wanted to do that through there, and so that's exactly what I wanted to cover with you guys today. And what I want to do, go through with you guys in the session. I really want to cover why the trading and investing should be completely different in the markets, and how you should be focusing on these markets here. So for me, if I use my analysis here from gold, okay, gold short-term analysis, when I'm doing these short-term analysis swings in gold, silver, and the mining sector, you must understand I'm talking about the swings here in the markets. So if we see, for example, we go to the gold chart here, okay? Oh, that's still go to the gold chart. The gold chart here. So if we go to the gold chart here, when it comes to gold, as this market was rising, we use this in the different phases, these market swings, right? So the market will go through these bullish phases, nice big bullish phases, and then they go through what's called these resting phases or energy using phase or energy building phases. So there's the energy building phase, and the market think about the market like an energy source, okay? And if the market has a big move in a direction in the markets, well, it's important to understand that is like an energy source, okay? And if it keeps going, it's going to eventually run out of energy before we start to go through an energy building phase, which typically is a correction, a pullback, and stuff like that, as you can see through here. And as you can see, this is what gold has done all this time here. We go sideways, move sideways, all through here as well too, right? Before we start to trend up. It even actually happened down here as well too. So you can see this is what gold actually does. Or this is what a lot of markets do, should I say, is they'll go through these different phases of energy building and energy using. And so this is short-term analysis here. Okay, this is real short-term analysis here when it comes to looking at gold. Therefore, the short-term analysis for me simply says that we have now entered another energy building phase. And in the energy building phase, it typically is a volatile. It typically get big pullbacks and stuff like that, as you can see from here to here. So we typically go through these different phases in these markets: energy using, energy building, energy using. This is where, for me personally, I always like getting into things after we've done the energy building, because once it's built the energy, remember it's a living source, right? Once it's built the energy, it's ready to go for another move. And as you can see through here. So this is the short-term analysis that I'm seeing on gold. Now, what a lot of traders get this mixed up with, there is the trading mentality. What I'm talking about here is techniques to help you with good trades. Now, a trade for me would last anywhere from a few days up to a few months. That's what's called a trading mentality from there. So the really big thing and the really interesting thing around gold, though, is this is now looking at the last last say year or so, last couple of years. But there is a really big macro cycle that's at play right now with gold. And as an investor, to understand the massive cycles that's happening in gold right now. So when we look at this level here, if I bring up this is my chart through here. Now I'm going to bring up a logarithmic chart, and I'm going to bring up, this is a logarithmic chart, and I'm going to bring up G or D because it can give me a bit more data, okay? And this is a logarithmic chart on the G or D here. And I want you to understand the major super cycle that's at play right now with gold. because to me, this is the start of a really big move in gold. Now, when I say that, it's important to put a caveat on what I just said there. Okay. I wish I could. I wish I could. Oh, yeah. Right. So it's really important to understand where we are with it. So as a trader mentality, we go through what I walked through a minute ago. Okay. We're using trading techniques to look for a trade. Get in, get out. Don't get in now because it's a bad time to get in now. Right. Or get ready for a really good trading opportunity. Meaning you're going to be, now remember, a trade could be anywhere from a short-term trade. For me, my best trades are a couple of months, but that's still pretty short-term thinking. Okay. But that's what the techniques are there for. Energy building, energy using. Now, the long-term massive cycles on gold, though, are completely different. Yes, I'm expecting a correction. And yes, we will, when the market does eventually top, after the blow off top right now, we're in a bit of a blow off top phase, and we're probably getting started in the blow off top. So get ready for that. As you've been seeing with my market updates, you've been watching my market updates. But probably late next year, I would say, probably for the next 6 months, it's game time. But as the stock market does come down, so will the gold market. Now, here's the thing. This is the big long-term massive cycles at play with gold. And that is, this is the first leg up here in an overall massive bull market. Massive bull market. If I bring up the actual gold chart here, all right, and I show you this here, this to me, for you guys that are long-term investors with gold, yes, I see a correction coming. I see a correction coming down here somewhere. Right, maybe 50% retracement. Maybe even down through here somewhere. Like through 2027. Now, it may not be now, but I'm thinking if you're a long-term investor with gold, you're not trying to time the market. Oh, I'm going to get out now. And the comment that I got recently was, John, are you sure we're going to go through a correction? No one knows what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to go through a correction right now or not. Right? But if you're an investor, you don't worry about the corrections. You're just very confident about where we're going big long term. Big long term. There you go. There you go. Big long term. Now, the big long term is what? The big long term analysis here for gold for me is I see this thing getting to 10,000 up here. So what does that mean? Even if we do get a correction, which we're probably going to get, because that's what, as you can see, even from looking at perspective of, you know, markets don't, these very big bull phases don't just keep going on. Okay. But let's go back to gold here for a minute. I then see, even after the correction, I then see a nice big leg up. So I see this being a first leg up in an overall very big bull market. And then I see something like that going on into the early 2030s. So even if we do go from here and we get a nice correction, it may not get that deep. We may only get like a 50% retracement. But the long-term massive the long-term massive super cycles right now in gold is this here. So if you're an investor is buy and hold for many years. You don't care about the corrections and the pullbacks. That's trying to now you're turning into a trader. Don't mix them up. If you're an investor, you buy and hold, you go through the swings. Market goes up, market has a correction. Market goes back up, market has a correction. Market does nothing for 4 months, breaks out. That's an investor mentality. Don't mix them up. Don't mix them up. Because now you've gone from an investor, which is a buy and hold, to now trader mentality and trying to time the market, which never works, by the way. Never works. So looking at gold here and looking at what's happening, this is the long-term super cycle what I see happening in gold. So even when we do get the correction, I'm actually hoping the correction starts now. Because I see the reflation of what's coming in the gold market. And it's huge, huge. in the gold market. Get ready for it. So this is the big thing I see happening here with the gold market here and the gold price. The gold super cycles are massively at play. And this whole analysis here is the same for all markets, meaning like even silver. Silver. There you go. Silver. So this is the SLV price here, big long-term monthly charts. All right. So the same thing here. If we do get a correction, we're probably going to get a correction coming back down to here somewhere. And then we're going to bounce, and then we're likely to see silver break out and start to make, finally, after all this time, start to make a break above this level from here and start to make a nice move back up. So these are the long-term massive cycles at play with gold and silver. So while I'm really, 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 really bullish long-term out of gold and silver right now, understand when I do analysis saying there's a correction coming, that's the short-term swings of these markets of how they work. And you don't want to be mixing them up as well too. This also goes inside of the mining sector as well too. This is where, like, I believe one of the greatest booms were coming, the greatest super cycle that we've experienced in a long time is actually just getting started. Now, that's also going through a correction as well too, right? So we're probably going to go through a correction as well too. And so this also goes with the mining sector, right? This also goes along with the mining sector too. So that my baby, in a sense, has always been the GDXJ. This has been my baby in a sense. Let me bring on the weekly chart here. My baby in a sense, because this is one of the markets that I have been focusing on now for 5 years now, has been the GDXJ. And we're getting big breakout here, right? Big breakout here on the GDXJ. Big move up through here. But just like the GDXJ, again, the same type of thing, right? Boom, there we go, right? The same type of thing from here. Is I just see this level from here, this correction we're getting right now. As you can see, it's quite down 22% now from the highs. This correction we're getting right now is not the bull market ending, right? It is what's happening right now. It is just the bull market starting. But remember, how a bull market works is we go through these swings, higher lows and higher highs in the markets. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs in the markets. And that's what we see from there. So this correction we're getting right now, which could last many months in a row, if you're a long-term investor, which I am in the mining sector, to me, this is a first leg up in a very big bull market, right? And then we're probably likely to see this thing continue up and continue up, continue up. And I see by 2030s, early 2030s, I see once again the metals and miners being the greatest. There's such a massive bull market that's already started in the mining sector. But remember, a bull market comes with corrections and pullbacks and whipsaws and sideways periods. That's what a bull market is. Do not be thinking a bull market is just straight up and it just keeps going up. No chart does that. Even in a very big bull market, you're going to get that. So if you're thinking a big bull market is just straight up, this big leg from here to here, this point from here to here, that is not a bull market. That's just the bull leg. A bull market is what? Goes up, pulls back, higher low, comes up, comes back down, higher low. A bull market is higher lows. A bull market is not a straight leg up. That's part of the bull market. Remember, a bull market, the trend is higher lows. If that's the case, a big bull market is therefore market comes down to create the higher low. That's all the short-term analysis that I've been doing on YouTube is all about. It's just calling for a short-term correction because it was overbought, it was oversold. We're due for a correction before we get going again. And that's all it is. And once you understand the rhythm of these markets, the rhythm, what is that? Right? Once you understand the rhythm of these markets, which is higher lows and higher highs, you understand what's happening right now in the mining sector and even gold is just a healthy correction, which is actually building the bull market because it has to come down to create the higher low, right? If a higher low is a big bull market, market goes up, market has to come down, creates a higher low, then away we go again, market, and away we go. Right? And you see this here with all these markets. Same for the silver mining sector. So there's a different analysis you must understand about these markets. Different analysis about how you view these markets and how you trade these markets. And you definitely don't want to be mixing them up. And that's where I see a lot of traders get into trouble because they're starting to mix them up. And again, the quote that I just saw, the comment that I saw just recently was, John, are you sure we're going to go through a correction? I'm looking to accumulate again. And that's the wrong mentality when it comes to the gold. Silver, SLV tops 1980, 2011, and 2025. Maybe. I do believe we've actually made another top now. Yes. Actually, let's do this here. Let's do this here. Let's bring on my trading view here. Bring on my trading view for you. Good old trading view. Okay. So, trading view. Let's look at weekly charts. So what I see coming here in this silver chart is indeed this from here to here, right? From there to there. That's what I see coming in that level for me. So what I see is a very big, nice big bull face through here. But this to me is just this. We've had this nice leg to the upside. We're probably going to get some sort of correction. And then we're going to see another big bull market here. That's what I see happening with silver. And again, the same thing for gold as well too. This is the gold chart. Go again. I keep drawing that. All right. This is the gold chart. Same thing for gold, right? Same thing for gold. Really big move for the last 2 years overall, as you can see. Really big move. And just like all big bull markets, they eventually come to an end. Big bull market come to an end. Big bull market come to an end. Big bull market come to an end. And then away we go to 10,000. So this correction we're seeing right now, and we're probably going to have a big correction into even into next year. On the other side of next year, which is probably 2027, get ready for a really big move to come out of the gold market. So that's all I'm seeing from there. Can I delete this now? Okay, there you go. Yes, got it. All right. So that's what I think I want you to understand, guys, is that wherever you are in your trading journey, if you're just a trader, you use the short-term analysis only. Don't be a trader and go, but the inflation data, John, who gives a shit about the inflation data? You trade based off a technique, trading patterns. That's how you trade. You cannot trade based off a fundamental analysis. It doesn't make sense, right? Right? You use how you trade the market is chart patterns only. You get in, you hold it for whatever your system tells you, and then you get out. That's how you trade the markets. Me, I'm looking to get in on a trading pattern, and I'm looking to hold it for a couple of weeks, generally for a couple of months. My best situation is hold it for a couple of months, have a big profit, get out. My long-term investing strategies, that's when you can start to bring in the big super cycles. Anything on TMF, John? What do you mean, my man? What do you mean? TMF is dead. It's gone to zero. You realize that, right? It's going to zero. Zero, baby. Yes. You didn't know that. It's gone to zero. So that's all it is, guys. Okay. That's all it is. If you're a long-term investor in gold, yes, we're going to go through a pretty good correction over the next 12 months. Expect a good 30% correction. Don't freak out. No, that's not a selling opportunity. It's just part of a very big bull market, right? And if I take this off the screen, once again, how that looks in the big long-term monthly charts. This is a long-term monthly chart here. This is what I see coming, guys, by the way. Where we are right now, look at this here. Really big bull market. We're probably going to come back down because that's how markets work. Look at this here. Up and down and 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 up and down, down, down. Higher low, 50% retracement, 30% correction probably coming. And then away we go to 10,000 up here. That's the super cycle with gold right now. So to me, as an actual, even for a trader, right? If I'm looking for a trade, and now the trade means like maybe like investor, I'm hoping to get this for the next 12 months. Give me that for the next 12 months because it's not a complete crash. And yes, you're going to have the bear market. Going to have the bears on YouTube say, "Oh, the crash is here," and blah 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 blah. No, it's not. No, it's not. The coming correction is the setup for one of the greatest buying opportunities you've ever seen in your lifetime. Because then we're going to see a supersonic boom. You think this first leg here is strong? The next side on the other side. The next side on the other side. There you go. There's some good English for you. The next side on the other side. The next side on the other side. So there you go, guys. So for you guys that are long-term investors in gold and silver in the mining sector, I wanted to do this video here, this session for starters, to give you an idea of what's happening on the big cycle things and what to expect. You're a buy and hold of gold for many, many, many years. Cool. When we go through the correction and we go through a bit of a correction, go through a bit of a pullback, which we will, don't freak out. It's part of the overall big cycle of things that take time in the markets. All right. So that's what I just say here. Now, let's go to here. I want to bring on my TC2000 chart. It's actually quite a simple process, guys. It's actually quite a simple process. Do you give us an update on NASDAQ short term? Sure. Up. Very big bull market. Truth is, your name. Truth is for the NASDAQ. I honestly believe the NASDAQ is at the start of a bit of a melt-up phase. Bum, 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 bum. So let me show you what I mean here. Right, this is the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ. So NASDAQ short term, very big bull market. Let's go to the last 6 months. Very big bull market. We broke out of this level from here as well too. Okay. Making another higher low, as you can see. Now made another higher low. Very big bull market. So we are in a very big bull market. And on top of all that, with all the fear in the marketplace, one, and two, with what's happening with the Fed just recently, QT stopping, QE starting, we're about to, they're stimulating into a bubble. So the short-term analysis going into 2016, there you go, 2026. To me, this is the start of what I believe is going to be an incredible move into a blow-off top phase. So we're seeing this here right now. Short-term analysis, and I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. I'm not even trading this right now. Is I see an incredible move coming out of this on the NASDAQ here. So that's the short-term analysis from there. What I see happening from there and then into 2026. So I believe we're at the cusp of a really big move to come. And the reason why is because like there's just so much fear in the marketplace right now. It's crazy to see like even the fear and greed index where we are right now. Where's the fear and greed index today? Let's go have a look. We're at neutral. We're still at fear. So the market basically, the Dow Jones is at all-time new highs. The NASDAQ's basically at all-time new highs, but yet there's a lot of fear in the marketplace. Now, for you guys that know, buy when your people are fearful, sell when people are greedy. I know this makes no sense right now, but right now, there shouldn't be this much fear in the marketplace. So the analysis right now is indeed a what? A blow-off top type of move. So that's the short-term analysis, what I see happening with the NASDAQ there. And especially with all these markets. Like look at the Dow Jones. DJ in the house. Yeah. Dow Jones continue to be very strong. Rule number one, guys, is go with the trend. We have up, we come down, higher, low, and look at the Dow Jones, continue up. Just go with the market. Go with those higher lows. Some people are trying to call the top right now in the markets here. There's no toppy right now. Don't try, no, go with it. It came down, look at this here. Resistance becomes support. That support is now a higher low. And now we're breaking up here. Dow Jones to the moon, to the moon. And until the market starts to tell you it's turning around. Have you guys seen Rogue Trader before? That movie Rogue Trader? You know, Nick Leeson? I lost $50 million in one day. Right? They're sitting at lunch, right? They're sitting at the lunch break. And the guy who created the 888 or the 88888 account, Nick Leeson, and his mate sitting at lunch. And he was doing all these like writing option strategies. And I think the market was going down at that time and he was doing these strategies. And his mate said, he was sitting at lunch and mate says, don't fight the market. Don't fight the market. What does that mean? If the market, for you guys that are traders of the markets, if the market is continued to make their significant higher lows, like we can see here, the market is clearly telling you, the big boys who push this market around are telling you it's going up for now. Anything else, your opinion, your theories, your fears, your doubts, your emotions, doesn't mean anything. Rule number one for you guys is what's the trend and trade with the trend. But no, what do some people try to do? They try to throw their ego in the market right now and try to pick a top right now. It's going up. Go with that. You're going to have a much better trading career. So to the moon, especially what's happening right now, even on a fundamental level, right? Market's going up. Fear and greed index is up. Fear, that's a buying opportunity generally. And now they're going to be doing QE. This whole stock market's going to get lit on fire over the next couple of months. And you say the top's in the market. Who are you kidding? Tell me what he's telling you to stop. But John, Trump is the lockdown. Stop it. No. Right? Go to Ray Dalio's LinkedIn. Go to people who actually invest in these markets. LinkedIn. Go check out one of his recent articles. And the article is called Stimulating into a Bubble. Yes, we are in a bit of a bubble here. But read that article, right? From the legends. And learn from the legends of these markets. And he says clearly we're now going to be stimulating. We haven't even started yet. QE, QT, and QT stops in December. And then the QE starts. So we haven't even started the QE yet. Imagine if we do it. Dow Jones is at all-time new highs. This thing is getting its lit on fire. Absolutely lit on fire. So these stocks and this stock market is about to see an incredible blow-off move. Incredible. But here's where it gets dangerous. What happens after the market goes pretty vertical, pretty strongly? Just out of nowhere, like gold, silver, and the mining sector did, bam, it could be down 20%. Well, the mining stocks was anyway, right? Look at this here. Right, from there to there, look at that there. Within a couple of days, we're down 20%. That's the danger of holding to something when we start to go vertical. This is where, if you watch my YouTube videos for the last couple of months, you would know I was giving warning signs here because I didn't know when the correction was going to happen. But because we started going pretty vertical, I knew that when the correction happens, it's going to be hard and fast. And people that are holding on through here, leveraging up, here we go, yes, to the moon, to the moon. No, nugget on your face. Nugget on your face. Where the hell did that come from? Right? So, no. But what's happening with the stock market now? Guess what? What we saw here is probably what we're going to get in the stock market. Nice stair-stepping, nice stair-stepping. And then look what happens. Then we start to go to the moon, to the moon, to the moon for the next probably 3 to 6 months. But on the other side of that, once something starts to bubble up that fast, that's when you get these real hard, fast snapbacks. So, and you need to learn about how that all works, meaning it's important to learn what to look for at tops in markets. But for now, that's what. So S&P 500, same thing. Market's still making these major higher lows. Let's go to here. To the moon, to the moon. Look at that through there. Beautiful upward trend. Just to tell you that I'm following you for the last year and a half, and I'm entering my 5th year in trading and starting to have a slow but consistent and steady income. You really helped me. Thank you. Oh, amazing. Amazing. Well, I don't know what your name is, but when it comes to trading these markets, one thing I've learned over 20 years of trading these markets, and this is the reason why I have what's called a 1% club, because they're with me every single day. If you go to getjohntop.com, you can apply for that. I've got a couple of spots left for next year. I normally take on a small group around 15 or so people. But the one thing I've learned about my trading is this. There's thousands of different things you can look at in the markets, but most of them really didn't really help me move the needle in the right direction. What I'm teaching you here, like simple trend analysis and going with that, most people say, well, John, there's got to be, what about the Elliott waves and the, I don't know, the 452 moving average crossovers? It's like, who cares? I've just learned that there's only a handful of powerful things out there that actually give me the advantage of understanding what's going on and what's likely to come up. And one of those things is, if the market, remember, Mr. Market is always right. Because who is Mr. Market? It's the big boys who are pushing this market around. This is their footprint. So when you read the chart and the market goes, oh, there's a higher low. There's a higher low, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. Guess what? That's the big boys, not us. So when we're actually reading this, we're reading what the big boys are thinking and feeling at the time. Because they're the people that are really pushing this market around, not us. But when we start to listen to this and not anything else, ego and debt bubble and blah, 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 that's when we start to get some real amazing results here. So that's the short-term analysis. I'll get to the long-term analysis now, right? That's short-term analysis. Now, the big long-term analysis, the big super cycles we're in right now, right? The big long-term super cycles is this here. I'll bring up the Dow Jones. This chart here is the long-term massive super cycle that's in play right now. Now, this is a monthly chart, log monthly chart on the Dow Jones. And as you can see, when we step back and look at this massive long-term chart here, we see what's going on. And as you can see, every time we've had this first arrow here, right? Trump, COVID, recession fears, tariff. Every time we've had a correction of 20% or more, why has that been a bottom and we've continued back up? Because we're part of, right now, an overall big, massive long-term bull market. So every correction we've had, because it's been part of this big bullish phase, and that's the reason why these have been amazing buying opportunities. That's the reason why every single time we've actually come down to here, every time we've had these drops, what is the mentality of the market at that time? Oh my goodness, recession, the crash is here, fear, 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 fear. When there's fear in the marketplace, it's a buying opportunity. Fear and greed index is just out of extreme fear into fear. So why has this been, every single time there's been fears and drops has been a buying opportunity? Why? Because we're only about halfway through or a little bit more of these long-term bull cycles that happened throughout the last 100 years. Roughly 10 years of doing nothing. And then we have a very big bull cycle. Roughly 10 years. Now, it's not exact 10 years. Some people say, John, it's 11 years. You didn't get it right. Or it's 8 years or it's 12 years. Roughly, right? Oh, it's 14. It's roughly, right? 10 plus years. 10. And then we end up going through these 16 or so years of bull market. We're roughly 12 years in, and we have 5 years to go to 2030. So even though I said what I said just a minute ago about the blow off top and even the correction coming, that there is simply going to look like, if I actually drew that in on the Dow chart, that would simply look like there's the move there. Then we would get a real big correction. Oh my goodness, the top is in. Here we go. Top is in. And then the rooflation starts. And then away we go again, from there to there. And it's going to be, guess what? It's going to be another one of these. So this is the big long-term, the title of this live stream for you guys is the big long-term cycles at play. So this is where long-term buy and hold, some really big moves to come. Then when we get into the 2030s, that's when we can start to get worried and actually don't even get worried. The future is amazing, guys. It's amazing, isn't it? We have so much fear in the last 10 years, but yet look where we are in the stock market. And then this goes for all markets, even the S&P 500, right? Look at the S&P 500, same type of thing. Big sideways. And then we go through these bull phases. And even with the 1987 crash, which is right here, look at that, right there. 1987 crash. You gonna allow me to do it or what? There we go. It's gonna allow me to do it. Even with the big crash. Why did 1987 crash happen? But then why did it continue on afterwards? Because just like anything that goes vertical, and you saw this with gold, silver in the mining sector. That's what I was screaming at you guys, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are leveraging up. And then I've spoken to some people recently. I know they actually got hurt. When something goes pretty vertical, you end up getting a hard and fast snapback. Look at this here. That's the 1987 crash. But what was that part of? And then it bottomed, then it continued up for many, many years to come. So I'm actually expecting something similar like this to actually happen over the next 12 months. Big blow off top move in the next 6 months or so. And then there's going to be a hard and fast correction. People are going to freak out. It's a buying opportunity. Going into 2027, 2028, and then 29, 30, big bull market, and away we go again. But just remember, this is the reason why if you guys are watching my YouTube videos, when gold and silver, the mining stocks were going pretty vertical, I'm like, guys, do not be loading up. Do not be leveraging up right now. This is the wrong time, because we end up getting a hard and fast correction from there. But when you look at these things from a big long-term cycle perspective, like we can see here, you see where we're going right now. And that is short-term little up movement, which gives a blow-off top up to maybe 8,000. And then we get a bit of a correction, and away we go again. So it may even, this is that level through there. That's that long-term cycle from there. It may even do something like this. Big move up right from there, right? And then we get a bit of a correction, which is a 30 or so percent. So we get that from there to there. That's that 8,000. Then we get a big correction, right? Which comes down to there somewhere. We might even get that. And then there's a reflation that comes from that level there to that level there. So if the market did go up and we had a real big correction coming back down to this major level support, oh my goodness, what a buying opportunity that would be. Now, what's going to be hard for you guys? What's going to be hard? The hard part of this is what? At this time, this is where a lot of people who are not educated around those markets don't understand this. At the time, the fear is going to create the bottom. Now, I said that just recently on one of my shorts, and he said, John, that makes no sense. You make no sense, John. The fear is going to create the bottom in the market. I can tell that person doesn't understand these markets, because when there is a lot of fear in the marketplace, COVID, recession fears, Trump, at every single one of those times up, what have we gotten? It is all over. That's it. And it's very hard in the moment, right? Even just recently, even the tariff crash here. At that time was what? It was hard to buy the market, right? It's like, oh my goodness, this tariff talk and the media and the fear and all that sort of stuff. It's hard to buy. But it's those times where you buy and then you end up making the biggest gains. This is why if you ever hear really successful people say they make the most money in a crash or a correction, whatever you want to call it, you now understand why. Because they buy amazing opportunities, and within 12 months, they get this catapult. And every time we've got this, within 12 months, 2 years, we've got this move here. So that's what I see there, guys, coming in a theater near you. So big long-term cycles, guys, are real big to the upside. And then I see, so if you guys look in the buying opportunities, that's what I see from there. And this is where like even like some of the real big markets I've talked about before in the past. This is where and this is where like I see the next markets to pop that most people are not focused on are things like the energy market. If you look at the energy market here, this is the energy market here. And I see, look at this here. Once we break out above this 100 on the XLE, the energy market's going to go bonkers. This is the start of a big bull market soon. So, again, once we get above that 100 level, that's probably going to start a real big bull market for a couple of years to come. That and USO. So the energy sector, oil energy sector, looks like we could potentially be getting ready for a really nice move to come. Because as you can see, look at this here. Every time we go sideways, when we do break out, we end up going for a big move. That there, by the way, was an 80% drop. 80% drop. Then we did another one of those things. And then we went for what? An 85% drop. Look what we're doing here. Now, I'm not calling for a drop. I don't know where it's going to go. But what I see from this here, and if I just bring up this chart here, which is a logarithmic chart. A rhythmic chart. That's a logarithmic chart. This is a rhythmic chart here. And we go from here. Look what happens here. This sideways period through here is going to create an explosion. So there's opportunities all over the place. What I don't want you to be doing is I don't want you to be focusing on like one market. I look at all markets. I look at crypto. I look at foreign exchange. I look at gold and silver and the commodity prices. I look at gold, XLE. I look at the USO. I look at the indices. I'm keeping an eye on individual stocks. All of that through there. Woo. So there's a lot of moves that are coming, guys. A lot of moves that are coming. And if you're so focused, and there's so many people that are focused on, the biggest mistake that people can make is focusing on the hottest market at that time. And that's been gold and silver. It was crypto, right? It was crypto, and then everyone's focused on crypto. Now gold and silver being on to the moon, then everyone's focused on gold and silver, right? What you want to be doing is you want to be focusing on those markets that haven't actually really made a move yet. And this is where, Simon, my man, this is where, yes, I do see. Well, you guys can't even see that, can you? There we go. That's better. That's better. Right there. Sideways. So this is where, like, I look at TMF. Like, one of the things I see happening with the interest rates. Right, TMF. Let me bring this up there. Right there. Actually, I'll do this here. There we go. So you guys can see it. So this is where I see the TMF market bottoming out here. And I see interest rates starting to come down already. And I see this thing slowly starting to rise into next year. And the interest rates are already starting to come down. Let me show you this here. This is where it gets really cool. Really, really cool. Bam, there you go. Cool. So if we go and have a look at the interest rates. Boom. interest rates are doing what? They're starting to come down through here. And as we continue to roll over, as we continue this downward phase through here, interest rates are already starting to come down. 30-year. Look at this here. They're already starting to come down from here. The 2-year. Now the 2-year is the check out the 2-year. The 2-year is the one that, man, it could be one of those markets that really Ooh, there we go. All right. So the 2-year, if my chart if my charts light up here, it's just having a bit of a heart attack right now, isn't it? Oh, there you go. Cool. All right. Just give me a sec, guys. Just give me 1 sec. All righty. All right. Has it lighted up yet? Not yet. Let's actually, you know what? Let's go to here. Anyway, I'll use this chart here. It doesn't seem like it. So what I say, this actually, yeah. So this here is the 2-year, right? Look at the 2-year. Once the 2-year starts to break this 3.4, long way to go. Now, the big long-term cycles, the really big thing about the long-term cycles with the interest rates is this. Let me bring up the monthly charts now. Let me show you what I see. The big long-term monthly charts, everything's changed. Look at this here. High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We were in a downward cycle from here. Now we've done that. That means we're probably going to come down to here somewhere and then come all the way back up again. So there's higher interest rates that are coming towards the end of this decade. Because everything started to change now from there. Let's go to the 30-year. Right? 30-year, same type of thing. Right? We were in this massive downward phase from here. And now we're starting to pick back up. So this drop in the interest rates is only going to be short-lived over the next 12 months or so. Then we see that there. So my TMF position I'm in right now is that this is a massive bottoming pattern that's happening on the interest rates. So get ready for it. You think interest rates are high now. Wait till you see what's going to come in the next 5 years. And the same for the 10-year as well too. So all of these markets here are creating massive shifts in the marketplace. Coming down, 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 down. Big, massive downward cycle from there. I'm probably going to pick back up. This whole thing through here, up, come back down to here somewhere maybe, around about the 50% retracement. And then we're going to pick back up and then we're going to see really big interest rates coming into 2030. This is the big long-term cycle. But right now, as you can see, this is big long-term cycles of these markets. But the interest rates coming down right now is just a short-term drop for the next 12 months. That's where my TMF position is. This is TMF here. Is it going to play for me? There we go. Weekly chart. Here. So we're probably going to get a bit of a short-term rise. I would say at least on TMF over the next 12 months out of this. We're probably going to get a rise. I would say at least up to, there's probably at least 100% move coming, I would say. At least 100% move coming in the TMF and TLT market. Oh, no, TMF, not TLT. TMF. We're around about 40. I see at least a minimum of 80. And it could quite possibly even shoot up to about 100, 110, run through there. And then it's dead in the water again because the interest rates are going to start to change everything from there. So big long-term cycles. Big long-term cycles in the markets. Now, yeah. Tell you what, guys, Ethereum to me is, I think Ethereum is going to start to make much bigger moves than crypto and then actually Bitcoin. I see Ethereum really starting to break out here. This is a weekly chart, by the way, guys, so it's going to take time, but I really see Ethereum starting to make big moves here. I think this first move up here, right? We had all these highs through here. Now we made a high, come down to around about 50 to 60% retracement, and then we start a really big bull market. I believe this is a high, low, higher, 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 low, and then away we go again. I see some big moves coming in the crypto market. The dollar, right? The dollar. For you guys that are on live right now, if you guys got anything you want me to look at, then just let me know while I'm here. So much for the death of the dollar, eh? Look at that. Death of the dollar, and it just goes up for the last 2 months. Now, I do believe the death of the dollar is coming, but not now. I tell you what, what's happening here with the dollar here is probably surprising so many of the gold traders, because the gold traders anyway, last 6 months were the dollar's gonna die and all that sort of stuff. Not yet, anyway. Yvonne. Great to see you, Yvonne. The TMF for me, it allows me to. The TMF for me is a lot more volatile, but allows me, if I'm right, it allows me to just basically get a better return if I'm right. So the fact of the matter is I can, for an investment anyway, I could put on a much smaller position in my account. And so therefore the TMF for me, TLT is just a lot more slower movement. But if the TLT goes down, TMF's going to go down. But it's just it's a triple leverage. So I'm really, really bullish in the bond market right now for the next 12 months. And so therefore my position has been the TMF, because I do see that's probably going to make, even with the very short-term move that I see happening there, that could be a good 50 to 100% move. 50 to 100% move out of the TMF, where the TLT may not do that from there. So it's just a leverage thing. I'm very, very bullish bonds for the next 12 months. So I'm trading a leverage position, which is basically the TMF. Now, also what I've done, Yvonne, as well too, is from that there, not only purchasing it, buying it, but then also I've also bought options on this one as well too. So while this may go up, if it goes up to 80, which I do see coming, by the way, if it goes up to 80, which I see a bare minimum of this thing rising up to around that A level, that's close to 100% move, or it is 100% move on just buying it. But then my options that I bought, because I've also bought 12 months worth of options, 12 months time worth of options, then those could be up 200, 300, 400%, maybe even more, depending on the move. So that's all I'm expecting from there. Nice big cycle analysis from there. But then after that, Yvonne, as I said before, for the next 6 to 12 months, as that's happening, cool. But then after that, it's not going to be good to be holding bonds, because bonds are going to go absolutely just crushed. Interest rates are going to start to go back up again. And just like what I was saying before with those big long-term, the big long-term cycles, I just see the cycles coming down from here. And then the cycle's probably going to pick back up as well too. Here, this is where you're investing things like gold, silver, the mining stocks, like that sort of stuff here. That's when you're going to see that's when you see 10,000 gold coming into play, and meaning like that's when you start to see those big moves. So this is just the short-term drop before we start to see even a real much bigger move in the markets there. So that's all the trade is for me, or the investment is for me. It's just that short-term drop. And then, because we've started a new cycle. This whole thing, what's happened in the last 5 years, we've started a new cycle. The times of really low interest rates have come to an end. We may get lower interest rates now, but the time we've been in a few decades, 4 decades or so, of lower interest rates. Lowering, you can see there, right? All these lowering. We created this final low through here, up massively, change the tune, come back down, and then we're way back in. So right now, this is a massive change in the interest rates. What's been the way we've done the interest rates for the last 40 years is not how we're going to move forward for the next 20, 30 years. It's going to be much higher interest rates. So this is where potentially in the next 5 years or so, 5, 10 years, potentially maybe savers are not going to be losers anymore. Maybe there's going to be time where we can actually then have a high interest rate again on our savings, like they did back here in the 80s. That's what I do see. I actually do see that people that are savers are going to potentially getting that high interest rate again. So, but that's all that's happening. We're completely changed the tune now. So this is where like I see really bad things coming. Like, yeah. Any thoughts on, let's have a look here. MYLS. MYL. Or MLYS. Oh, man. The problem with this here is because it's such a low, thinly traded stock, and it's only pretty new as well too. This can reverse really quickly because it's so low, thinly traded. So that's the danger with this particular one here through here. But my favorite trading pattern, look at this here. You guys may have heard me say this many times. When the market doesn't do much for quite a bit of time, we end up getting the biggest moves. It's my number one trading pattern. Number one. You guys, if you guys have been following me now for the last few months, even for the last few years, you know, I keep saying, when you get this, so that's what I see from there. It's a pretty amazing pattern anyway. The biggest move come from when we actually have done nothing for a while. Then even platinum actually did this. This is the reason why I traded platinum actually. The reason why I traded platinum is because, let me show you this here. Let me see if I can. So nothing, look at that, just sideways pattern for all that time. And then when we did start the breakout, look at the move that's happened. I got in on the breakout up here and I got out up here and my options made me 250% return. I'm not in it right now, platinum, but you want to be able to identify, for I do anyway. A lot of traders are day traders and short-term traders and they wouldn't care about this. But I'm always looking for this pattern here. Because when we get that pattern, when we do start to break out, that's when we get the biggest explosive moves, and that's when it can pick up some really good returns. All righty. The number one trading pattern, guys, is when the market doesn't do much for like, look at gold, right? Look at gold as an example. It just works so well. Right, this is gold here. What did gold do before this big breakout? It actually was doing nothing for 3 years. Then we broke out and look at the move happened. You're looking for markets that's likely to make a really big move. Look for this pattern here. That's where if you look at things like look what's happening with USO. Why am I look, same thing, right? Look at this here. Why am I really focused on USO right now? Because I'm waiting for the breakout. When the breakout does happen, that's when a really big profit trade is going to come for me. I'm not after small profit trades myself. I'm not a day trader. I'm not a short-term trader. I want to get in and hold it for a few months and have a really big profit on one trade. That's where you make big money. You wait for these things and then boom. This one trade for some of you guys over the course of a few months or more, 3 to 6 months maybe, that one really good trade could be equal to the amount of money you make from your job. Oh, Simon's still on. You're still on, mate. I thought you left a long time ago. See you, man. I thought he left a long time ago. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Thoughts on copper? Let's go have a look at copper. Copper got hit big time, didn't it? Eh? It got crushed. Yeah. We're still in an overall big. Look at this here, right? Notice how we've been in this very big. This is the long-term charts from here. This is actually quite bullish. This is a very bullish chart. Even though we had the hammer down, break it down. This is a very, 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 very bullish chart. So I would actually expect, due to the fact that we're just holding here now, we've gone up, we're just holding here now, I expect this thing to start to rally back up and start to see move back up here soon. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually quite, and the reason why I say that is because my number one rule for me anyway, is So yeah, so copper for me. The big thing I'm always looking for is that if we're in a very big, strong environment on the weekly charts, go with that. It can be quite volatile, but even with the volatility, low, high, low, same low, high, low, high, low. So even though we've had these big swings, ups and downs, the market has still been stepping up. So I'm expecting that to come. And that's what's been happening for the last few years, even though we've had really big swings. So my number one rule is I always want to be trading with an overall long-term trend. If there is a trend in place, the best thing to do is to go with that. Because as you can see, right, over the last couple of years, there, and even here, they have been the bull legs, and there, and one down day. So the purpose of me saying this here, as you can see, the most successful trades have been going with the overall markets from there. So copper looks like it. The next couple of years, we could get a nice big breakout from here. we start to see that nice rise from there. I would not call or put copper or similar. I don't see the trend. Lows and highs, my man. Lows and highs. If we have a market go up through here and then down through here and up through here and down through here and up through here and down through here and down through here, then that means we've had low, higher low, and higher low. That's the trend. So as long as these major lows are higher than each other, we have an upward trend. That's what we see with copper as well. So if I go to the weekly chart, you'll be able to see. Up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. But as you can see here, these lows, and lows are higher. So even though we've had these big corrections, the major lows and even a low through there have been a lot higher. That's why we've been trending up even though we've had these really sharp corrections for a few months. I don't know. Will it really continue? Well, you have a much more better chance of it continuing than not continuing. No problem. Thank you. No problem. But right now, as I speak, even from a daily chart perspective, this is really strong. Very, very strong. Now, I'm not in copper. I'm not personally in copper myself. Oh. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Right, so I'm not in copper myself. There's just I like to see a really good trading pattern myself, at least. I need to see some sort of odds on my side of being successful. So I just haven't gotten that yet from copper. Look at uranium, guys. What did I say before? When we get this for a few years, breakout. It's the #1 trading pattern, guys. Tell you right now. Nothing for a few years, then a big move comes. Look at all this big move in uranium. Why? Because it did nothing for a few years. This is the time you should be focusing on it here. When the market does this here, that's the time you focus on something. If you're looking for a good trading setup that's likely to last a good couple of months or more, and you're looking for a big profit, that's the setup to look for. If you're a day trader, you're probably like, who gives a shit about that, John? I'm looking to make money today. You're probably going to lose a lot of money if that's your mentality. Day traders never make big money, guys. Actually, no. There's only probably 1% of traders out there that actually do really well with that. Yes. But to give you the best chances of having success is swing trading. Get into something like this here and hold it for a few months and have a really big profit in that one trade. That's how it all works. That's the only thing that's really helped me anyway. Interest rates are starting to fall down. Starting to get a bit of red in interest rates already. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You saw that coming. Damn, look at that. What happened to the interest rates? This is the 2-year. Bit of a gap down on the open today. We're probably going to roll over because the trend is your friend, right? Look at this here. Lower highs all the way down, guys. Go with the trend. Go with the trend. Don't fight it. People try to pick bottoms through here. Oh, interest rates are going to go up. What are you using for that to happen? The number one thing is that the markets continue to go down. Go with that. Don't fight it. Now, I'm not saying you guys. I just get some comments from time to time on my YouTube channel saying gold is, yeah. I mean, no. From time to time, I hear them saying the interest rates are likely to rise. Why is that not doing that for? You know what? Let's do this here. Let's go. Let's do this here. And the only reason why I do this, guys, is because there's been many times when I haven't done that. Meaning, like if I see a strong trend and I think I'm smart, I'm smarter than the markets, and I think the market's going to turn. 8 times out of 10, I'm going to be wrong, and I'm wrong big time, and I end up getting my head handed to me. And then I realize, why am I making life hard for myself? Well, like with the stock market now, right? You look at the stock market now as an example. This is the stock market for the last 6 months. It's going up. Don't fight it. Why would you? You might be right here with the top, but why are you trying to pick tops in the markets when you know you're wrong most of the time? The trend continues most of the time, and then every now and then it doesn't. If we're in a very strong trend, it makes sense to go with that. If you want to actually have the chances of being successful in the market in the first place. I had a little tune on my recent market update video that I did. And I said, go with the higher low, not with your ego. If the market's making higher lows, forget your ego. And this is the interest rate. This is the TLT as well too. Yeah, so the TLT should have a nice rise here, I would say. Probably about a nice 10% of rise through there. Up through there, up to this resistance level up here. We definitely start, or maybe not definitely, but looks like we're starting to get a bit of a bottoming pattern through here. We were in a bit of a downward sort of, let's go through like something like that going on. Yeah, look at that. Eh? Look at that. One stock that I do see actually coming for you guys that are watching. One stock that I do see actually having a nice breakout soon is actually Tesla. Tesla to me looks like it's getting ready to have a nice breakout soon. So we could be getting ready for a nice move out of Tesla. Tesla is one of those stocks that I got on my watch list that I've been watching for. Because once we start to break 480, then that could give us another nice rise out of the markets for a short period of time for a trading opportunity. Investing, I'm not sure. But for an actual good trade that could last a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, there could be a good opportunity coming up soon for me anyway. Out of Tesla, I need to wait for my confirmation candle. There could be a really, really nice opportunity coming from there. Just remember too, guys, right? Remember, everything goes in cycles, right? So let me show you this here. I'll show you my PowerPoint here for a minute. Everything goes in cycles. So if you're looking for really good opportunities in the market, so this is the reason why there's the same type of patterns repeat again and again and again in the markets. And you start to see these things show up via this thing here. Right? So if you look at the markets, all these markets we're at right now, we see that there's where we're at. So if I look at, say, for example, metals and miners right now as I speak, I think we're at the complacency stage because a lot of people are still bullish the metals and miners and they think it's going to keep going up. So I would say we're more at the top of this phase here, up here, around the metals and miners. Now remember that's where we are right now. A lot more of a correction, I believe, is coming, and then another big reflation. That's when we see that overall gold's on its way to 10,000, I believe. But how that happens, I'm just not sure. I see the complacency stage around the metals and miners right now. Around the actual stock market, though, is I guess disbelief is how I have to put it at, because there's still people are like, why is this market going up? And is this a bubble? And is it going to pop? So I'm seeing disbelief, maybe hope to optimism. But this here, optimism to thrill, that's what I believe is coming real soon out of the stock market. And then down the bottom here, where it's like anger, depression, no one wants to get involved with it. Like you're an idiot, jump for getting involved with it. That's the bond market right now. as you know, right, the bond market's been crushed, and most people are not getting involved with the bond market. That's where the bond market for me is a really good buying opportunity right now, because I see it's just part of the cycle. Everything has its cycles, guys. Everything has its cycles. Yeah, Tesla looks nice. Another market that could be starting a really big move is Twilio. We've had a big breakout just recently after going sideways through here. Look at this here. So this whole sideways breakout sideways. So this little breakout that we're seeing right now, right here, could be the start of something really big to come out of this stock. Twilio. One sector that I do see is starting to come alive now, and I see some really big moves, is the health sector, actually. The health sector has been one of those markets that I've been watching for now. XLV. Here. Oh, nice move today in XLV. Look at that. So I'm starting to see this thing starting to rise. And look what we got here, right? See this here? Higher high, higher low. That was the change in trend. Let me go to this chart here so you can see it. I'll just bring up the candlestick chart. But look at this here. When we started making that higher low and higher high, now everything's changed. Now we're going up. So the health sector actually looks like it's, yeah. Looks like it's really starting to gain a bit of momentum behind it. And after it's been, look at this here, and after it, like really the big picture for health sector, look at that through there. Like it really hasn't been doing much since 2021. 2021 was the sort of the start of that process, and now we've been through here. So the health sector looks like it's starting to really pick up. And look at this here. Let me bring up this chart here and I'll bring up the weekly chart. For you guys that are trading heads and shoulders, look at this here. Shoulder. There's your head. And there's your shoulder. Yeah, it worked, but it only worked that much. Now it's gone back up again. Don't ever trade reversal patterns, guys. Don't ever trade reversal patterns. It's the worst form of trading. That was the only profit, and then now look what happened there. It's the worst form of trading. Worst form of trading. That's if you actually want to have the chances of actually being part of the 1% who actually does well out of trading. Because only 1% of traders actually make consistent money every time. What's helped me become part of the 1% is that stuff is, yeah. What's the code for that? Rack. Rask. What's the code for that, Rask? I'll have a look at it. Trading with the trend is the way to go, guys. NVO. Let's have a look at it. So do you think is forming an end of trend? At least slowing down now? No. No. An end of trend, think about this from a perspective of the markets, right? So if we have a look at things like the end of the trend in a market, then you think about it from a perspective of lows and highs. So an end of a downtrend is the market will generally break one of the previous highs. So if you have a look at, say, for example, XLV, and as an example, this one here, and we go look at this chart here, and we go bring up just a blank chart here for a minute, just a blank candlestick chart. Actually, I'll bring up the moving average to make it look a bit nicer. Look at this here. So the downtrend is when the market's making the lower highs. So the end of that downtrend is when we break the highs. So we have a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, same high, lower high. So all through here, the market was making a lower high. But as soon as, you never know if this is the double bottom tree here, you never know that's going to be a double bottom at the time. How we get to the point of it's actually changing the tune of that market from downtrend to potentially now uptrend is you'll start to get a breaking of that high, and you end up getting what? A higher high. So we made lower highs, but as soon as we got that higher high, that's now the sign, that's the first warning sign to say this downtrend is ending. And then we get the higher low. And as you can see now we've been getting a beautiful, beautiful upward trend starting. So this whole point through here was the change of the trend through there. It was the higher high, then the higher low. So lower highs is downward trend. As long as it keeps making those lower highs, then the downward trend is in place. So if I look at NVO from here, NVO, you'll be able to see what we're looking at here, right? So if I look at this here, and I'll look it up here, this is the weekly chart here. High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and another lower high. Every time we've been getting strong rallies through here, they've been very short-lived because the overall trend has been, the overall momentum and the trend has been down. So it may find a bottom here, but it's not going to tell us that until we break this high up here. You would need to see this thing rally above there to start to give you a high probability of this whole thing now being a bottom. And then you start to see potentially that happening from there. But until that happens, it's this thing's getting crushed. And you can even see it from a perspective of this weekly chart here. So let me bring this weekly chart here. You can see even from the upside, right? The upside is what? Sideways, no trend. Then we start to break out. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher low. Look at that there. It broke the low, then rallied up, then it made a lower high, and then it started the downward trend. When did the trend change? Right here, because it made that lower low right there. That low, and then it made another, it broke the low as well too, right there. That was the warning sign. But until then, every time we were rallying, it just kept doing it, then it did it. Then we rallied back to the upside, created the lower high, and then we started to roll over. Because we went from higher lows all the way up, and this was the very first time we actually broke the low. But I definitely want to be getting involved with this stock here. Something seriously wrong with this company. It's getting absolutely just hammered right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Gold is dead. Gold is dead. Uh-oh. Gold's dead, guys. Quick, it's selling off. Collapse. It's collapsing. It's collapsing. Oh, no. Quick. Silver, what is going on now? It's just a 1 minute chart. It's just a 1 minute chart. Logic operator. What was that for, man? Smiley love hearts. I'm a fighter. What do you mean by that? What up? What up? Oh, thank you. Good guy, experienced and good hearted. Oh, thank you. Yeah, logic. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, logic. Yeah. I don't know why, but for the last couple of days, I've just been doing these live streams. Like if I'm figuring that if I'm at the computer anyway, looking at the charts, like because sometimes I do, sometimes I sit in front of the screen for 2, 3, 4 hours. Sometimes I'm just looking at the markets. I don't have to, but I just love it. And yeah, so I thought, why not just put on the live stream? And if I'm looking at some stuff in the markets, I don't need to. I just love it. I just love looking around and see what's happening. If I'm doing that for a couple of hours, why not run the live stream and be able to help you guys as well too? It's nothing. It's not any. I'm doing basically the same thing I'm doing anyway. So that's the only reason I'm doing it. Plus, I get to interact with you guys on a live stream as well too. So again, I don't need to. Most of my trading's done all my trading's done in that last hour of trading of the market open. But because I just love trading so much, I love looking at the charts. So sometimes I sit in front of the screen for a few hours. Yeah, so I thought, Well, if I'm going to do that, then put on the live stream and say hello to you guys. Have a good chat with you guys. That's all. So I appreciate it. Just bear with me 1 minute, guys. I'm just taking. All right, let's. All right, let me